Klay and Devin Booker clash. Should Poole be starting? And the Warriors bench struggles. We'll talk about it all right here on Warriors County. All right, tonight we saw the Warriors go down to Phoenix and what a lot of people believe is going to be a playoff preview and get smacked. Yeah, they got destroyed, 134 to 105. It was a close game in the first half, but when that third quarter came, it was kind of a flip of the switch. It was kind of the opposite of what usually happens. Usually the Warriors destroy in the third quarter, but the Suns, yeah, they put it on them. A big story that's going to come out of this one, of course, is the Devin Booker, Klay Thompson clash. Devin Booker was destroying. He had 34 points. Klay Thompson had 2. He destroyed him. There's no way around it. He destroyed him. Of course, Klay is going to go to, I got 4 rings, which is understandable. Those rings are definitely more valuable than winning game 4 of the NBA season. But Devin Booker had a hell of a game tonight. Now, I got to show some respect to Devin Booker because in the post-game interview, when they asked him about it, he kept it classy. He said he looked up to Klay Thompson. He wanted to be like him when he got in the league. I got to give him a lot of love for that because it's hard. I know it got to be hard to keep it humble after you just put that on him. You put 34 on him and you locked him down on the other side. Nah, sometimes you got to talk your trash, but, I got to respect that. Now, I know it's early. I'm trying not to overreact, but we got to have a real discussion about the Warriors defense. 3 straight games with 70-point first halves. That's never been done in the Kerr era, if I'm correct. That's horrible. I was actually asking my dad, who's going to be the defensive coordinator, so to speak, for the Warriors now. At first, you had Ron Adams. Then you had Mike Brown. Of course, Mike Brown is gone now. He's in Sacramento as the head coach. Who's going to step up now and get that defense together? Because it's no way the Warriors are winning a championship if they don't get that defense together. It's been horrible. The communication has been horrible. The interior defense has been horrible. It's been horrible all around. And I understand it's the beginning of the season. Guys are kind of sleepwalking. But, they're going to have to get it together. The communication is going to have to be important. I understand guys like Wiseman, they're still learning. That's fine. They're going to have to get it together with the communication. They're going to have their IQ is going to have to be together. They're going to have to get it together because it's looking pretty horrible right now. I know this is a super divisive question, and I know a lot of Warrior fans is going to be mad at me for this question, but it's just my feeling. I'm sorry. Should Jordan Poole be starting? I feel like that's a real question to be asked. I understand we love Klay Thompson. We love everything Klay Thompson has done for us. Game 6 Klay. I get all of that. But I feel like the Warriors might be better off starting Jordan Poole. I feel like it would help Klay Thompson as well. I feel like Klay Thompson's role right now, it will be better if he came off the bench and just be able to just shoot up as many shots as he want, come in, get hot, and just try to take over games once they sit Steph. I feel like Jordan Poole is playing within the system better at this point. I feel like it's time. I feel like we'll get off to better starts if we have Steph, Poole, Wiggins, Draymond, and Looney out there. That's just my take on it. I think Jordan Poole should be starting now. I understand they got to manage the fragile egos, and it'll probably hurt Klay's ego coming off the bench. But I think it will be the best thing for this team. I'm going to trust Steve Kerr. I'm going to trust him. But this bench squad has been struggling. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of all the young guys out there at the same time. I would prefer it to be a little blend, make sure Wiggins is out there, maybe Looney is out there when the young guys come out. I think it would be better to blend it. But, I guess he's doing a trial by error, which I can't blame, and he's Steve Kerr. He's a great head coach. He's proven time after time. So I won't doubt him, but I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of it. I feel like they get lost out there. And it puts the team in some horrible situations. It puts the starters in some horrible situations where they have to make up for a lot of their mistakes. But, of course, like I said, I'm going to trust in Kerr. I'm going to give it time. And I'm sure it's some evil genius plan where it's going to work in the long run. Guys are going to be confident. Guys are going to be ready for those playoff moments. But in this moment, watching right now, I'm not a fan of it at all. Another take that I might get heat for is I'm not sure if Jonathan Kuminga will last in this curse system. And it has nothing to do with how I feel about Kuminga. I'm a big fan of Kuminga's game, a big fan of his potential. But looking at the Warriors system, looking at what Steve Kerr has planned for this team, I don't think Kuminga will be a part of it. It's kind of reminding me of Eric Paschall. It's reminding me of him when he was out there and it just didn't fit the system. He gets the ball, he tries to power his way to the rim, but he isn't playing within the system. He isn't moving around correctly. He isn't getting out of Steph Curry's way when he's relocating. You know, all the Warrior system things. I don't see it. I look at somebody like Moses Moody, he feels like the perfect fit. He's not necessarily better than Kuminga, but for the Warriors and their system, he's a much better fit and a much better player. I honestly think when Patrick Baldwin starts to get reps and get his time, I think sooner or later he's going to surpass Kuminga when it comes to Kerr and who he sees that fits this system best. I think Baldwin fits this system better. I think a lot of players fit this system better than Kuminga. I think soon, it might be this coming trade deadline, or it might be next year. I think it's going to be a very shocking moment where the Warriors trade Kuminga. I'm predicting that. I just don't think it's going to work. I got to give some love to James Wiseman. I'm loving his growth. I feel like he's made some big steps forward. He looks like an actual NBA player now. You know, it was tough to tell, how his trajectory was going to go because I saw him even in the G League and I was concerned because even in the G League, he looked like he didn't belong. He looked like he didn't belong in the G League. Now he looks like a certified NBA player. He still has some flaws. He's still having some issues with communicating and being where he needs to be and setting the proper screens. But I've seen a lot of growth. I've seen him attacking the rim. I've seen him set some good screens. It's pretty hit or miss there. But I'm loving the growth of him. I think he's going to be a big piece for them. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the year or next year, he'll be starting. I think they'll use Looney coming off the bench where they can choose his minutes better, have him come in when needed, have him come in for certain matchups, and just have more freedom with Looney's rotation. And I think Wiseman will end up starting. I think Wiseman and Poole, if both of those guys were starting, I feel like they could bring a different type of explosion to the start of games that the Warriors would benefit from. And I definitely see that coming soon. But yeah, I've been a big fan of Wiseman's growth. He gets a lot of, especially on Twitter, he gets a lot of hate, but I can definitely see the improvements. All right, next up, the Warriors going to be hosting the Miami Heat, a great team, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, a team that barely lost to Boston in the conference finals on a controversial Jimmy Butler missed three. Some people say he should have took it to the rim, tried to get the and one on Al Horford. I stand by his decision because the only reason why they were in that situation where they could have won that game was because of Jimmy Butler. So you live or die by what Jimmy Butler wants to do. But that definitely could have been the finals. It could have been the Miami Heat and the Golden State Warriors. So this is going to be a good game, a possible finals preview between these two teams. I'm looking forward to that one. It's definitely going to be another great challenge for the Warriors. Some things I'll be looking forward to with that game is the response of Klay Thompson. I want to see how he responds after the 2-point horrible game to the Phoenix Suns. I want to see how he'll respond, see if he can have a big game. Also, I want to see Tyler Hero versus Jordan Poole, two young guys who just got paid, just got the bag deservingly. I want to see those two guys, two of the cockiest players in the NBA. Definitely. I want to see how those two go. I want to see who ends up on top in that matchup. And then I want to see if Steph has a big game. He struggled for his standards. 21 points against Phoenix. I expect a big game from him. I expect a 40-piece at home. I want to see if he can pull that off. Thank y'all for listening. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share. This is Jason Stubbs, and this is Clutch County.